guys, what's going on, and welcome back to the Bradford Save, where I bring you news! Yes, actual news has happened, and it's this. Musselburgh-based investor David Gordon has successfully completed a takeover of Bradford, replacing former owner Stefan Rupp. I had mixed thoughts about this as this was unfolding in between the recordings. This sort of started happening after the Liverpool match and has just resolved itself a week before the Cardiff match. We're currently in an international break. And whilst this is obviously wonderful news in terms of a save on Football Manager, it's always good news for you. In terms of the journey and things like that, I was kind of worried it was going to allow us to jump a bit too far ahead, if that makes sense. Not that I want to struggle, but it feels a little bit, you know what I mean? However, he's only put 17 million in, and he's developing youth training facilities, which I appreciate that. That's nice. He's improving our youth facilities. That's good news. And he's put 17 million in the finances. But the good news part of this is only 6 million in the transfer budget. So it's not like he's given me a massive amount. This happened because we went negative at one point, and for some reason they've not undone it yet, despite being, well, 31 million in the black now. But yeah, it's because we went red briefly in September, so they reduced it to 35%, and now we're very much clear. So I suspect that will come back to at least 80 sometime soon. New owners, more money. I suspect obviously there's a little bit more money in the background that might get pumped into it if necessary, and our transfer budget next summer might be a bit healthier. But as things stand for this season, it's not really a lot. It says extra transfer funds available here. Will now be 12.25, increase on 5.75. So it's basically put 6.5 million in. There's not a massive amount. It's basically one reasonable player. More transfer budget. There's obviously, I've been eyeing a few players that are in the region of maybe 8 million. So this will be helpful in getting one of those players in January, particularly central defence. So that's happened, and that's now lifted, of course, the transfer embargo. There was rumblings of this happening, or a different takeover happening in the summer, which was part of the panic because it put a transfer embargo on me at the very start of the transfer window, which was incredibly annoying, which is why there was a little bit of panic in trying to get players in, because I lost essentially 2 weeks of transfer. Well, that didn't actually happen in the end. But now it's happened with a different person, and actually Consortium is, I think, a slightly higher amount of money than the guy who was going to do it in the summer. Oh well, Cardiff in 8 days. See you then. But first, of course, a look at the game since we last met, which was the very, very one-sided Liverpool game, in which we lost 2-0 in the end. Very spirited performance, keeping it that way, considering the way the number of shots went. We did, however, follow that with 2-2-1 wins at home against Wolves and away at home against Leicester, which was, in fact, a comeback. Everything happened within the first 26 minutes. John McGinn scored for them outside the box. Tex then scored a penalty and one of his own accord, a header within the box. But then next up is the 3-0 win against Bury in the Carabao Cup fourth round. Our under-23s did actually lose on penalty shootout, which is a thing that happens in the group stages of the Checkatrade Trophy. We did actually beat Tranmere in the third game in that, so under-23s through to the knockout stages of that. However, in the Carabao Cup, we are through to the quarter-final, and we got the only remaining non-Premier League side in Ipswich as our opponents for that one. So, very good chance we can get to the semi-final in that one. And it's probably something I'm going to be aiming at, considering how reasonably well we're doing in the league. So, not really necessary to draw my attention away from Cup stuff just yet. I think I may treat that in seriousness and at the very least get to the semis of the Carabao Cup. Why not? But 3-0 against Bury, followed up very shortly by the West Yorkshire derby against Leeds at home. Leeds took the lead, hard to say, but Ike Martin scored another banger from outside the box to equalise that one up and end up 1-1 in that. And then almost a very similar story to the Liverpool match happened with Arsenal. They dominated that. We eventually did get shots in, but it did end up 2-0. So it wasn't quite a complete whitewash like the Liverpool match. We did end up with 5 shots and 1 on target. But next up is Cardiff. And a quick look at the table shows you that since we last met, Cardiff have yet to pick up a single point in the matches in between. They have lost 5 in a row since we last met, and they did get those 12 points last time around. They won 12 when we last met, and they are 12 still. The thing with the table as things stand is, oh, by the way, Man United have started losing. They lost to Southampton of all teams, and then Liverpool. So Liverpool have gone unbeaten so far as well. 3 draws in that bunch, 36 points. But the top 4 are kind of slightly adrift of 5th now. West Ham are in 5th with 23 points. You can see Arsenal and Tottenham not doing amazingly well either. Arsenal have picked up after a very poor start. I think they actually lost the first 3 and then they've gone unbeaten since. Admittedly 6 draws. But it is in fairness, it is reasonably tight between 7th and 17th still. There are only 7 points separating us and Cardiff, but 10 positions. So we are still in the early stages, 13/14 games played. We're about just over a third of the way through the season now. Still, a lot can happen in that time. However, that being said, we are highly favoured for this match, which is a nice change. And as a result, I am actually going to run with our attacking formation, which of course is the 4-2-3-1 variant. And that's partially because we're favourites and partially because Pedro Ferreira is injured. So we have lost our premier option in that defensive midfielder role. Oliveira is absolutely fine on that, but he's also equally as good pretty much in central midfield, in the ball-winning midfielder role. So he's going to be doing that. The back line is Osborne, Pereira, Garcia, Lam. No issues there. I did sort of rotate Medina in a little bit because Lam's performances were a little bit lacking. Medina did have an excellent game, but then hasn't really been playing in the performances either. So we might have a little bit of an issue with right back. That might be something to look forward to. That might be something to strengthen in the January. Now, I am obviously very conscious of keeping a certain amount of English players in this team because I don't have a great deal. I do have Osborne and Lamb and Reed, of course, in the middle there. And a few, obviously, rotation options in Gribben, Much, Rossiter. So, yeah, I am conscious of, obviously, English talent. Of course, we do have English talent coming through the ranks, hopefully, as well. Now, we're getting to that position where those early new-gen players are getting to an age where they're starting to show some of their potential. Most of them on loan, admittedly, so not quite there yet. But here we go. So, yes, Raya, Osborne, Pereira, Garcia, Lam at the back, Oliveira and Reed in the sort of slightly further back midfield roles, Lopez, Martin, Tex in the attacking midfielder positions, and Hendricks is our choice for striker right now. Now, we still do have the very similar dilemma of the fact that our strikers aren't really scoring. That's partially probably due to the same situation we had in the first year in the Championship, where they're just probably not getting enough support to be banging them in as much as they would have been normally. Ruiz has been injured, of course, as well, and he is just returning to fitness as well. That's great. So he's on the bench. He's not anywhere near maybe starting potential. 77% is not what I'd like to see for starting necessarily when we've got 2 fully fit options. But I am going to put him on the bench for this match because if we don't get him any playing time, then he's not going to get back to full fitness. But I am very pleased with Martin's performances so far in general, considering the fact he has been doing the Mazzala role for the most part in the midfield, which isn't his favourite thing. Has scored 4 goals, and they've all been absolute worldies. He is weird to compare him to, but very much Jim O'Brien in his way through this. I don't want to do revenge. Oh, it is worth noting we haven't actually beaten Cardiff yet in this save. Let's show the world what this team is all about, shall we? I've never seen that comment before, so let's click it. It's worked. And then there's a bit of... Oh, that's worked wonders, that has. There we are, excellent. Who's the only one who hasn't? Luis Oliveira. Maybe because he doesn't understand English yet. I'm not sure if he's gone through the English training yet. Oh, they've had an injury immediately. 10 minutes gone, and that is Josh Murphy being dispossessed by Lamb, but has fallen rather neatly back to him in a way, and he has... Well, I'm not entirely certain how good a chance that was, but it's gone down as a highlight, so must have been all right. And finally, 28 minutes, we've got another highlight. We have started to grab this match by the scruff of his neck. Started making chances. Osborne's just running through their defence right now, and that is, oh my word, a wonderful, wonderful assist on that one. Great vision by Ben Osborne to create the goal, it says at the bottom there, and, well, I want to see that assist in 3D. And Osborne here, probably not the best camera angle for this, but oh, that sumptuous is the word for that assist. And we move up to 6th with that, apparently. Not quite gone in yet, but Lopez is here on the edge of the box. He could have gone for himself there, but Martin is in some space and smashes that wide. Feel like Lopez could. Lopez hanging over this free kick and just over him as well. Highlights are plenty now. Josh Murphy's been injured as well. They've lost 2 players. Martin is running down that right side. That's a free kick. Oh my god, is this? He's already been booked. They've had 2 injuries and now a red card. Well, it's not going well for Cardiff, is it? I'm going to stay on positive. I'm not going to go attacking like at this point. We're already 1-0 up. There's no need to really open ourselves up for a potential counter here. Well, it's safe to say it's not one of Cardiff's best days. They're a man down, delay performance has dropped. Excellent, that all works. Off we go again. Sandro passes that off to Marched and Chiquino to kick this off. Now, I have been eyeing that Chiquino to reminded me. I'm not sure if he actually is Argentine or Brazilian or anything like that, but has just reminded me that I have been sort of eyeing maybe a bit of South American talent. And I might be bringing one of those in January. Who knows? But 66 minutes gone and nothing's happening in the second half at all. Time's just slowed down for no apparent reason. So less than 20 minutes to go. It might well be worth just saving a couple of carded players right now. Now, obviously, Pereira in defence, I'm always very resistant to changing our central defenders, especially when they're actually playing really well, our defence in general. Lopez isn't having the best of games, so I will bring on Gribbin on that left-hand side. He can play all over that front-sided things, especially on a tag format. Just got to bring on Much as well, just to freshen things up a smidge. Well, might as well waste these last couple of minutes with another change. No one's really playing awfully, but let's just get Reed off for Dominguez. Everyone's on playmaker roles as well now, so a highlight is happening here. Rolls out to Much. It does very much seem that we've been camped outside their box for quite a long time. A text is free, and that's 2-0. Sort of almost the reverse of the Liverpool match you saw last here. Obviously, they've had a player sent off, so we've dominated this game since that point. 20 shots on target, and we've finally broken them down again in what was very close to being injury time. Might actually technically tick past the 90. Not quite. 3 seconds off ticking into the 90 as Tech smashes that in for 2-0. However, we are at 92 minutes, and 92 is what we are expecting to have right now. That's been headed on by Almeida, but Pereira clears that up nicely. And this should see that out. Yes, there we are. Full time. 2-0. And really, 2 injuries and a sending off really threw that into our favour. They didn't actually make any changes since that. After that, good win. Lovely win. We'll join you again for Crystal Palace away, unless, of course, there's any further breaking news in between. Good Lord. Man City 7-3. Against Southampton. Sorry, I just got distracted by that. Bloody hell. Watford's still not doing amazing either. Here is in fact some news. The youth facilities stuff has actually started. 2.9 million being pumped into that. Good to see. The one benefit actually of being taken over this, thankfully, as much as it takes away from the challenge slightly, it's nice to have these things upgraded. Welcome back for Crystal Palace. I don't know why I said welcome back. You've not gone anywhere, hopefully. But welcome back nonetheless to Crystal Palace versus Bradford City. And obviously away from home, slightly less attacking minded for this one. Back to the normal formation with the triangle and defensive triangle, opposed to the attacking triangle. And the good news is now that Ferreira is back to almost full fitness, so he's in the lineup back into his deep line playmaker defensive role there. Otherwise, the lineup is unchanged. What you've seen essentially is the lineup you've seen so far pretty much every time. Now, obviously, that striker role does rotate a bit. Ruiz is back to reasonably full fitness as well. So I want to see how he goes. Of course, he is our number 9, so there's a bit of faith played in that. Guys Hendricks on the bench for this one, despite scoring last time around. Of course, we have played Crystal Palace already once this season in the Carabao Cup, and we did beat them in that. However, that was at home. So we're not quite sure how we will fare at Selhurst Park. And of course, they've still got Angel Di Maria. This player in the back, M. Poulsen, is a player to pay attention to. He was someone I was tracking for a very long time. Unfortunately, Crystal Palace signed him last season while we were still in the Championship. It was a player I was hoping to maybe get by the time we got to the Premier League. Scouted him very early on and has kept him on the scouting list. And he has developed, annoyingly, and he did get noticed before I got a chance to pick him up myself. Remarkably, we're underdogs now, despite being higher in the table. That's all gone nicely there. So, Crystal Palace kicking off in the blue, yellow and red outline. We are in our away kit. Black with the grey on the dots. Clash at the bottom there between Leeds and Burnley happening today as well. Tex, I don't know, that just smacks Tex in the face, I think that does. Di Maria picks that back up again. Yoshida to Samper. Back out to Di Maria, course of play, despite getting on a little bit now, still with oodles of ability. Back to Di Maria, you can see they just keep giving it back to him as much as possible, see, right? I do not like the space the number 2's in there. No, he's been closed down a little bit. Di Maria, some space. Oh, Ward's got clear and able to, well, get that to Chicharito. No problems at all for him. Classic. Classic from him. Poacher goal, if ever you've seen one, and what he is known for, really. Getting into that 6-yard box and putting it away. Priester unfortunately lost his hair, though. I'm going to demand a little bit more. This would incidentally be the first time we have lost to a team outside of the traditional top 6, by the way. We've played all of the top 6, and they're the 6 teams that we have lost to this season. Raya with a free kick out to Garcia, who has obviously a bit of space in her own half just to run into there. Tex will pick that up, get tackled briefly, but not well enough for it to lose possession. Martin has plenty of time to get that out to Lopez, who crosses that back over for Reed. Literally anyone on that side could have picked that up, though. Not sure why Reed ran for it. Lopez is a bit of space on this side and just gets that in off the post by the looks of things. Not sure if that was a header or not, but we'll see that in 3D now. And just on the stroke of half time, we pick up the equaliser. So that is cleared across to the outside there where Reed picks it up. Just taps that back to Tex, who can swing this over to Lopez. His just not the best save, really, is it, to be honest there, but Lopez just nods that past him in off the post. Half time, they actually do have more the possession. Probably for one of the rare times this season where we've actually, even against the top 6, we've had a reasonable amount of possession, despite lack of shots against some of them. This is the first time we've actually been on the worst end of possession for some reason. Yeah, I'm not amazingly pleased, actually. Considering that we are known to be one of the better possession-hungry teams, the fact that we are lower on that, lower on shots, and lower on everything, really. We've got a bunch of people playing on 6.4s as well, which is not nice. Morten Paulsen, that's his first name. Max Meyer. Whatever happened to Max Meyer? He was always in the young talent sort of lists on these kind of games, and then sort of signed for Crystal Palace out of nowhere, and sort of is no longer really talked about. Lopez, Di Maria's nabbed that. Coyote, Geraldez. Rees has snapped that up, and maybe Rees can do something. No, Reed from outside the box smacks it over. I was hoping Rees could maybe get a little something. Obviously, a little bit of match. Well, first team. Been out of the first team for a little bit of a while here, but 20 minutes to go, just under now. Probably about time we made a change. Now, Ruiz obviously is not doing amazing, so I think I will just take him off. Play Hendricks in his centre-forward role here. Reed is doing even worse, and that is an opportunity for Dominguez. It's going to put him in his favourite role, because why not? No one else really having a stinker of a game right now. Reed also booked, of course, which means we get to preserve him for that. He's getting booked, I don't know why. Maybe he's just got a slightly aggressive personality or something like that. But Raya with a free kick. Cardiff having a wonderful game. 3-2 there. Just maybe getting back into that. Dominguez, Garcia, Lamb now on the ball. Dispossessed, repossessed, everything possessed. Tex has the opportunity to get this through to Hendricks. And again, a lovely through ball for Hendricks to latch on to, but not quite converting that. They've got 3 up top. Good lord, they're going for this. Stay balanced. That's ping pong. I don't like ping pong. Oh, he's offside. Ping pong. Pinball. Lopez on a free kick here. That's maybe gone in. No, not gone in. Cleared. Gone for a throw-in. Does this highlight continue with the throw-in or not? Yes, it does. Interesting. Lamb with this throw-in. Who's he going to get this? Taking his time. Gone backwards to Ferreira. Not what I wanted to see, but Martin is in lovely amount of space here. He can smash this in if necessary. Ferreira, though. Osborne with closed down actually really quickly by Townsend there. Geraldez, and it is 3v2. No, Ferreira's picked this up. Squared it off to Lamb. This highlight does continue. Dominguez, Lamb. Tricked. I don't think I made my third change. I'm just going to preserve the 1-1 and just waste time with the third change here now. Ferreira is getting slightly... Oh, it is actually nice to see Oliveira developing the deep line playmaker a little bit. I'm just going to waste a bit of time with that. Now, Lopez is hovering over a corner kick. Now, I do suspect with 30 seconds on the clock that this is going to... Nope, okay. Still on that corner, 20 seconds later. Probably because of the change that happened there. Garcia can get this back out to Lopez, who could swing this in maybe. No, just passes it to Tex instead, who is dispossessed. Weirdly gets out to Dominguez, and realistically we probably could have had enough time to ping that back in again. But never mind, 1-1, we will take it. Still undefeated against teams who aren't in the top 6. Well, traditional top 6. In fact, we've not actually played any other teams that are currently sat in the top half. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really... Yeah, good effort, lads. I'm not happy with the finishing. Man City triumphing Manchester Derby. That's going to make things interesting at the top of the table where things were already quite tight. But Liverpool running away with it a little bit now. I'll tell a lie, we've played Bournemouth there in the top half currently. I think what I'm going to do in terms of the next time around is bring you back for Brighton and the Carabao Cup quarter-final. Now, despite the fact Brighton and Burnley are the last 2 matches of the season, I think I'm going to bring you Brighton now as well. Brighton and Ipswich for these two. Considering the last 8 of the Carabao Cup, I kind of want to bring you those journeys, particularly when you get to sort of like the last 8 of cups and things like that. So yeah, I think even though we play Brighton and they'll be in the last episode of the season, for this season, I think I'm going to bring you Brighton again now anyway, and Ipswich. I think I'm going to bring you those 2 matches. The reason for that is Brighton are probably the other team that are potentially overperforming right now. They sit in 8th on the same number of points as Arsenal, and they're very much within the shout of being 5th and 6th right now as well. We do play West Ham next, so Arsenal are sort of getting into the mix now a little bit. But yeah, so Brighton are in 8th, and they're sort of very similar to us in the fact they probably actually are slightly overperforming with the squad they have. Probably been strengthened in 3 years more in the Premier League, but that being said, probably still slightly overperforming. Quick nose in the season preview obviously sees them in 15th, so it might be nice just to see how we compare against a team like that who are similarly overperforming maybe. But yeah, so next time around, Brighton and the Carabao Cup quarter-final. So until then, thank you for watching. Ta-ra.